In this video, traders, we're going to look at the top 5 things that cause traders frustration the most and potentially how to fix them. Stay tuned. Hey traders, warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining me. All right, so frustration abound massively in the markets. All sorts of things can annoy you, wind you up, get you frustrated. But one of the things is obviously understanding what is the biggest things for you that cause you frustration. So I'd ask you guys to stick your 5 in the comment section below, or your top 1 or 2, and then maybe we'll do another video on that and get all the stuffed groups together and work out, what are the things that are causing frustration, and maybe kind of brainstorm some ideas, or I'll present some ideas to you and you guys can go, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, I'm going to implement that. You go, know what, there's something else that's more interesting, whatever. This is what we're all about, guys. We're about improving our trading, whatever level we are at. So hit the subscribe button if you aren't already. So 5 things that are causing us super frustration. Let's go. First one is getting stopped right at extremes. You can't help but get annoyed by this, can you? Listen, it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters whether you're managing a £5 million account or whether you're managing a £500 account. You know the score, right? If you are getting stopped at extremes, it is frustrating. Let's say, especially if you're in a trade that kind of went your way. It's not so bad really. Let's say you're buying here and you get stopped and you get stopped there and it kind of keeps going and stuff. That's not really an extreme, is it? What's more frustrating is if you get stopped there and then it carries on without you. Or you kind of buy, maybe you've got a trailing stop, you bring your stop up to here, comes back down, just pings you and then goes off without you. That's frustrating. That's annoying. That's the sort of thing that can trigger the frustration, which can then develop into poor trading. Because that's the key to it, guys. Listen, we're all big boys and girls here. We can handle a bit of frustration, handle a bit of annoyance. It's no problem. That's the name of the game. But what we don't want it to do is to turn into poor trading skills. We don't want it to turn into tradings that we're just trading on the fly. We're just doing stuff that we shouldn't be doing. That's the key to it. It's not necessarily the feeling of frustration. It's the trigger for a further event that can end up doing real serious damage to our account. Okay, so number 2, guys, is multiple losers in a row. Some people get really frustrated when they have loser, 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 loser. Now, I think as you have more experience in the market, you accept that this is going to happen from time to time. You are going to hit a losing run, as you are going to hit a really good winning run. It's the way it is. It's like tossing a coin. If you're tossing a coin, the probability of getting kind of 10 heads in a row over 10,000 tosses is probably near to 1. It's most likely to happen at some point, but the smaller occurrence is less likely to happen. So same with trading. If you've been in the business a while, then you're going to know that, hey, I've had strings of losses before and it's going to happen again. Even if I'm really on top of the game, it's just the way it is. But you can't help but getting frustrated by it. I think the kind of trick, actually we'll go back to the tricks in a moment, how to potentially avoid these. Let's just go through them first. So that can be frustrating. Number 3, guys, missing a big move. Annoying. You're there, you're prepped for it, maybe you've written out your trading plan, it comes in. It's even worse actually when you've actually, written down the whole move beforehand. It doesn't matter if you missed the big move, perhaps, it feel as bad if you've done it and you weren't prepared for it. But if it's a market you trade, everything's lined up, and you just, for whatever reason, don't get the level you want, don't get the read you want, and off it goes without you, that can be frustrating. And for quiet markets, super frustrating, guys. Volatility, we thrive on it. We thrive on that movement back and forth, or trending, or something happening when it's quiet. Can be frustrating for us. Number 5, and the final one, is making avoidable mistakes. Big one. There's nothing more annoying than breaking your rules and knowing you should not break the rules. Knowing you should stick to the rules, should I say. So you've got this situation where there's nothing more frustrating after looking or reviewing, saying, I'd said in my plan that I wouldn't do this, but I ended up overruling it. Why am I doing this? What's going on? Now, listen, guys, if you're subscribed to the channel, we've gone into massive depth into this. Loads of videos and resources for you to help you out to see how to overcome this, how to become more disciplined, how to stick to your trading plan a lot more. So go and have a scan through and have a look and see if there's any videos that are right for you. And also we're going to do loads more of that in the future as well. Loads of videos planned around that kind of theme. So stay tuned for that one. But let's just run through and have a quick brainstorm about how we could sort of prevent this frustration, assuming these cause you frustration. First one, getting stopped at right extremes. That's an operational thing, right? That's a trading plan thing. And if it's happening regularly, there needs to be adjustments. Now listen, you're going to get stopped out at extremes, guaranteed, if you're active in the markets at some point, regardless of where your stop is. Same as you're going to get filled at extremes. We tend to forget the times when we get that nice little fill on the long side and it pops up and it was within a few ticks of the low. But for some reason, when we get stopped on that way, it hurts us more. So it swings and roundabouts. But if it's becoming a regular occurrence, then you need to perhaps go back, have enough events to do this before you start making changes on 3 or 4 trades. But if it's happening regularly, then perhaps you need to either fine tune the entry to be a little bit better and then keep the same stop distance, or maybe the stop needs to be wider. There's some kind of operational tweak that needs to be made there. And the key, guys, is that with all of these, we'll go to the second in a moment, but with all of these, the key is to recognize and be self-aware enough to know, hey, I'm getting frustrated by this. Let's just make sure the primary goal here is to not let that frustration embed itself into our account as a cancer almost and end up doing massive damage to the account, because any of those kind of emotions can breed and get bigger and bigger and cause us to trade from an emotional perspective. And listen, we're not trying to reduce our emotions completely or eliminate them. We just want to be aware of them. That's the game. If we're aware of frustration, we recognize it's negative to our account balance, then just we know when to step back and have a rest. Anyway, number 2, guys, multiple losers in a row. How you avoid this is going to happen from time to time. Again, self-awareness, recognizing that if you have X amount of losers, very often it causes you to trade a bit more like, I want to get back, I'm a revenge trader. And then so, hey, I've had the losers, step back, take some time off, whether that's the afternoon or a day or whatever it may be, come back in fresh and pretend to wipe the slate clean and start from the beginning. Number 3, missing the big move. If you've missed it when you've not been prepared, it's a preparation issue. You need to stop your game on your prep. You need to say, right, I'm missing moves because I'm not prepared for them. And that's just laziness, to be frank. If you haven't prepared for the move, then there's no real excuse. You've got to put some time aside to prep for it. Now, if it's a move in a market you don't watch, then it's irrelevant because you're not prepared. You're not even looking at the market. But if it's a market you watch and you haven't really been ready for it and look for it, now, we're not saying that you should have predicted it. Of course not. Well, being prepared and saying, well, actually, it could move like this if this level comes here and hits this level. And if you miss it and you've prepped and you've just been wrong, times when I've, looked at the market and I've just had a complete misread of it. Maybe I've taken a small chunk on the short side and then it's ripped off the long side and I've been still buy short, but not pulled the trigger because I've not had the trigger entry, and it's just gone on and on. I think, right, I've missed that because that was a massive move and I just misjudged it. That's fine as well. We're not saying about you always have to make money from the big moves, but missing them just because you're not prepared and you haven't seen. If you go back on your chart and go, right, the daily was setting up nicely, I should have had that marked down, then that's a preparation thing, put in time for it. Now, the other one is if you're missing the big move that you've kind of just missed out on, that's super frustrating because you've marked it down, as we said earlier. You've marked it down, you've done all the prep, you've done all your homework, so to speak, you're ready for it, and you've just missed it. You know what? It's going to happen, and it's annoying, but you need to almost say, listen, take confidence and take positivity from the fact that you spotted it, you recognized that it was a potential for that day, for that week, whatever side you're trading, you acknowledged it, you just didn't get on it this time. But if you keep that work ethic up and you keep the ability to recognize potential conditions for the big moves, then you'll get on them at some point. It's not as easy as saying, I recognized it and I get on all of them. You've got to have the execution's got to go with your favor as well, and a bit of luck as well. With trading, there's a lot of luck involved in trading. All right, number 4, quiet markets. Nothing to do about this. You've got to accept it. It's the way it is. If the market's quiet, you either trade another market, or you trade the quiet market with a different strategy, or you take a step back, or you do a combination of all. You just got to have a plan for it. You can't let it frustrate you. It's like being frustrated because you're going outside and it's raining. It's like, well, it's raining. You either get wet, you take an umbrella, or you wear a jacket with a hood, or you get a cab, or you drive, or get a train. You get the point. You just make a decision. You don't get frustrated by it. Okay, you might say, oh, it's raining again, but you've got a plan to do. Same with the markets are quiet. What's your plan? You don't just kind of plow on and think, oh, I'm getting angry. Wait, I wish I'd get more volatile. You'd like them to be volatile, but it's not going to consume you all the time. You'd like it to stop raining, perhaps, but it's not going to consume you. You're just going to get on with your day regardless. Number 5, making avoidable mistakes. This is a big one, guys, and obviously there's loads of resources we've got on the channel, loads more coming up around this. It's a huge topic, so I don't want to make light of something that's quite important. But this just comes down to having the preparation, having the plan, having an idea of what you're going to do, and then just trying to work on one thing at a time. Work on one thing at a time. Is it my execution? Is it my stop end? Is it my stop loss placement? Is it my position sizing? Is it this? I'm trying to grow, because you know, we make mistakes, so to speak, because of the habits we've formed, whether they're outside of trading or inside of trading. And so it's not fair on us to ask us to immediately do everything right. We're human beings, and these habits are hardwired in our brain. And not to go down this rabbit hole too much, but you know, we're trying to undo or make a better habit, if you like. We can't really undo it, but make a better action of one thing at a time, one thing at a time, one thing at a time, one thing at a time. An analogy might be overweight, smoking, heavily drinking, gambling, drugs, all those kind of things that we know are bad for us, and then just saying to someone, right, stop all of that straight away. You know, lose weight, stop smoking, stop drinking, stop taking drugs, stop gambling, and expecting them to do it. It's just, it's all hardwired in. You know, to unravel all that, if they wanted to and they wanted to change, it would be like, okay, well, one thing at a time, maybe little tiny steps at a time. So same kind of thing. You know, we avoid the mistakes because we're trying to, we want to just work on one little thing at a time. Anyway, guys, you know, there's loads more resources, and we're going to lots more depth in the future about that kind of thing. But anyway, these are the 5 things that frustrate me. Well, they're not frustrate. I don't say these are the 5 things that frustrate me. Some of these frustrate me, but you know, I'm used to them now. Like I say, you know, there's some actions to get over it. But these are some of the things that come to mind with the 5 things that frustrate traders the most. Let me know if you agree on this or disagree. Let me add your ones in the comment section below, and I might take a few of those and use them as like a seed for maybe a future video. And I'll pick up some stuff, share some things with you, and also share some other ideas. I know other traders, how they deal with the frustration. All right, guys, take care. See you next one. Bye-bye.